was extremely, extremely painful. But I think that it's more multifaceted than just the end of my marriage and betrayal. It's all of the crisis experiences of my life. I was feeling stuck, so I threw myself into reading a lot. I needed grief education, man.
That is the book about the man who lost his two sons. No?
Both his sons.
Both.
Dr. Livingston specializes particularly in grief. He was my therapist without realizing it. He gave through his work, through his experience, and so through sharing it, I learned from that. And I said to myself, well, that's what I want to do. And so he really was a catalyst for me to give through my own experience and help others. Okay, I'm a little bit nervous.
Well, of course, I would worry a little bit if you were.
So now I'm going to come face to face with the man that's been guiding me through a very difficult time. I'm nervous because, I don't know, I've just never had a therapist before, so I don't even know what to do. That's a good reason to be nervous. My throat is choking. I mean, there's something wrong with the way I deal with the crises that do come up in my life. I just want to welcome you to our little bus here, our house.
It's quite a bus.
It's actually pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Pretty fancy.
It is.
I just want to, sit here and try to be myself and let you be the professional because you know a lot more about this than I do, and that's kind of why I've invited you here. I noticed that particular note in your book heading, life's two most important questions are why and why not. The trick is knowing which one to ask. So, for whatever reason, I've adopted this attitude, and I do live by it every day. I believe in it.
Okay. I think you have to ask yourself, well, what is the objective of this process?
Well, first of all, I'm afraid to make a fool of myself and to admit that I've got this nonsense going on in my mind that I just can't get over the fact that my friend knew that she was going to hurt my family but did it anyway. I have a hard time with that.
This person that you're angry with turned out to be someone other than you thought. That's a misjudgment. You made a mistake. Well, in life, we have to pay for our mistakes.
Yes.
And what you're feeling now is your payment. Accepting responsibility is a step on a path toward forgiveness. Not just forgiveness of the other person, but forgiveness of yourself as well for having made this mistake.
Yes, I did definitely misjudge my friend.
And your husband.
And my husband. My ex-husband is a wonderful person. He's a kind and generous man. He's a great father. He's just a beautiful person. I can genuinely say that.
But he hurt you, Shania.
He did hurt me, but you know what? I hurt people too sometimes.
But I think you're trying to protect your relationship with him, understandably, because you have a son together and you've got to continue to parent him.
I guess I'm just not really ready to sit down and allow the anger part of our relationship to take over.
You've always been a strong person, and you try to convey that to everybody, and so I think that in some ways you haven't allowed yourself to experience this fully.
I definitely have not cried enough. I admit that. I'm trying to make up for it with laughing. Does that count?
No, it doesn't.
Does it count?
That's just another defense.
Can you laugh instead of crying?
Well, but
I don't like crying. I do like to avoid it.
Because you associate that with weakness, right? I mean, someone would think less of you for it.
Yes, that is a part of it.
This is a terrible, life-altering circumstance, and that has to be grieved and has to be acknowledged.
That's what Fred and Carrie say to me all the time.
I just think that you're being more brave than you have to be. It's affected your voice.
It has. And the feeling you get when you want to cry, but you fight it and you get all choked up, it's as if now I permanently have that feeling, whether I want to cry or not. And I really need to do something about it.
I think you ought to think about getting some help from somebody on a regular basis. Someone who someone who can help you through this. It really is. It's the kind of thing that can't be work through in one conversation. And
Well, the reason I've kind of thrown myself out here to do this is because I just felt that I was obsessing.
you have to be patient with yourself, Shania. I mean,
know.
it just is, it's going to take a little time. You do know that you're going to get through it, and you do know that there's something better for you on the other side.
Yeah.
Good.
It was very therapeutic for you, and that's what I think, you know.
He's like,
Because-
you know what
because-
you really need is to see somebody regularly.
You have a need to talk about, you know,
Yeah.
everything, not only what happened to you with, you know, your friends, but also what happened to you in your childhood.
Almost every second person I know has a therapist. I just find that I find that hard to take. I'm obviously wrong. I mean, maybe we all need therapists, but can't we just do some things on our own? Does everybody really need a therapist? I mean, gee, I just